Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. My name is Sarah Elizabeth Harrigan, and this is A Life Designed by Sarah. So, last week we talked about how to let go. This week we're going to talk about what to let go, and we're going to get real specific about the things that we hold on to and why. So, there are so many things that we hold on to, usually because they give us a feeling of some sort. Whether that means we feel good, or we feel loved, or we feel wanted, or on the other side, sometimes it makes us feel hated. It feels like we are being abused, it feels like we are small, or it feels like we're powerful. There's many different feelings that we get from the things that we hold on to, and what is significant, what really helps us in learning what to let go, is understanding what is really underneath that feeling. What is it that we're truly looking for, that we have chosen to hold on to this thing to provide that feeling for us? So, when I think about why we hold on to things, there is usually a story that we're telling ourselves. Now, all human beings tell stories. We tell ourselves stories about our worthiness, about our value. And when we create these stories, we then go into the world looking for proof or support in making our story correct. Now, what I mean by that, and maybe a really great example to help you understand what I mean by that, is I remember a few years ago, and all of my youth, maybe from like 17 to about 23, I was very insecure in relationships. I was super heavy at the time, and although I was confident in my weight, it was also something that I thought made me less than and made me not. Made me be a girl that, yes, I want to deal with her. She's awesome. However, I don't want to go out with her. I don't want to take her out. So, having that insecurity caused me to always be over delivering in relationships, buying stuff for guys I didn't need to spend any money on, making them dinner all the time, inviting people over, wanting to go out, wanting to pay for travel. I was doing all of this extra stuff because I felt like I wasn't good enough, and I had a story that I wasn't good enough. And in order for me to make sure that story came to truth, I would do all these things, and then the minute he was like, you know what, I'm not really interested, I would say, yep, there goes my proof to my story. I knew all along. So, as human beings, this is something that we all do, whether it be with a relationship you have with your parents, or maybe it's a relationship you have with your body, right? Another example I have, was like when I would order clothes, if they came and they didn't fit, obviously that meant that I had gained some weight and I couldn't fit the clothes. However, what I would do is I would keep the clothes anyways, and I would tell myself, yeah, I'm gonna lose weight and I'm gonna fit into those clothes. And then a few months later, I would go look for the pants. I couldn't fit into them because I didn't lose any weight. And then I would say, yep, I knew I couldn't lose the weight anyways, because my story was that I am supposed to be fat. I am supposed to be overweight because my dad's side of the family was. So I hope that from those two examples you get an idea of what I mean of, we have a story that we tell ourselves about ourselves, and then we go and we create these scenarios and these relationships and these experiences that feed into that story and make us feel like it's reality. So no matter what it is that you're holding on to, the more important thing for you to do in order for you to acknowledge the things that you need to let go is to really look at the feeling that it creates for you, right? And when you say, for me, for the first example in relationships, the feeling that I created was that I wasn't good enough. And that was a feeling that I recreated over and over and over again. And then eventually, as I started to transform my mindset and really begin on this journey back to me and my confidence, I was like, what is it that's really bothering me there? And I realized that I was insecure. That is what I saw at the bottom of it, that I was truly insecure. And then once I acknowledged it and I saw that that was the truth, I then had to reprogram my mind to say, I'm not insecure, I'm powerful as hell, I'm deserving of a love where I don't have to go and do all this stuff. I can just show up as myself. I have so much value in everything that I bring just as who I am as a human being. So I don't need to do any of that anymore. And the minute that I saw that for myself, I now started to let go of relationships. People that survived on me feeling that negative way about myself, right? Because they knew that I would do all this extra stuff. And once I saw that for myself, I was able to rewrite the things that I believe. I created a new story about myself, and my story was that I am powerful, I am deserving, I am loved. And operating that way now put me in a trajectory of a whole different type of relationship, whether that be with my mother or whether that be romantic relationships or with my friends. I started to show up differently, and I started to attract different people to me, and that created a whole different experience of life and relationships. So, some of the things that we can learn to let go of, yes, we obviously think of relationships. I also think of jobs. I think of clothes. Sometimes we're holding on to clothes because I can't wait to get back to that size. Mind you, the size was probably when you were 18 years old, and at this new age, now that your body has filled out, you've had a child, things have changed. Maybe you moved. Because all of those different things have changed and now have impact on your body, it may be impossible to get back to that old size. So let go of those clothes and invest in something new, right? Location. Sometimes we stay in places because we know this place or it plays into the story, not knowing that if you let go of the story or whatever's underneath there holding you to that space, you can move to Thailand and have a whole new life that is more fulfilling than the one that you're living now. Another thing to let go of is habits, right? I think I talked about this in the previous video about how we are on autopilot as human beings, right? We're usually on autopilot because we have these stories and beliefs that we've already implemented into our lives and we continue to live on them. However, when we sit down and get to the bottom of why we do the things we do and what feelings they're causing for us and what fulfillment we're getting on that, whether it's a negative fulfillment because it could be playing into that negative story we tell ourselves, or it's a positive fulfillment, you have to understand why you're doing things and why you have these habits. And sometimes we have habits we've had all our lives that supported us for that portion of our lives, and now as we try to elevate and glow up and achieve something new, we have to transform that habit. We have to let go of that habit and replace it with something else. Now, with all of those things listed, relationships, jobs, clothes, location, habits, at the bottom of all of that is really transforming your mindset, right? When I think about mindset, I really embrace the fact that we get to choose the trajectory of our lives by transforming our mindsets, and we can do that at any time. So when I talk about transforming your mindset, it's really getting to a place where you are able to act and respond in reality and not act and respond based on a story that you have about something. Because there's times where I'm going through stuff and my reaction is to the story, right? Because I'm like, yep, that's exactly, they're trying to play into that story that I already believe about myself. And then I ground myself and I get into the reality of what's actually happening. And instead of reacting, I respond to the reality. And I got to this point in my life through transforming my mindset to be more present and not on autopilot. So when we think about what to let go of, it's not always a physical thing, because at the bottom of all of that, there is some feeling that we're getting from this thing that we're enthralled in. There's a feeling that we're getting from repeating this story, right? It plays into, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I don't deserve, I can never achieve, right? So those things play into that story. And the minute that you sit down and actually realize that you are deserving, you are loved, you are worthy, then you want to now create the realistic story for yourself, which is living in reality and through conversation and action having the things that you want. And lastly, last point I want to make here is that the difference in these mindsets, right? A victim mentality lives within a story. When you're a victim, you can easily have things happen to you every day that confirm that your story is true. Versus a powerful mindset, which gives you the power to create the life that you want. And when you live in an empowered state, then you make choices, not decisions. right? And the difference, just real quick, the difference between a choice and a decision is a choice is because you want to, a decision is based on the past, right? So when you are living an empowered life, you are making more choices. You are responsive and not reactive. You are a loving being with no reason to have to be that way because you choose to be that way. You are compassionate. You have grace, most importantly for yourself. So at the end of the day and at the bottom of all the things that we hold on to, our job is to really do the research and see what is really tying me to this thing. What feeling is making me feel like I have to hold on to this to justify the story that I'm telling myself? And only a victim mentality tells itself a story. An empowered mentality creates a reality that is fulfilling. So that's the end of the video. That is the end of today's context regarding what to let go. And this entire series, yes, I've created a series. This is called the Letting Go series. So there are going to be new topics every week falling under the series. And then we're going to get into loving you. So that's a whole different series coming up next. So as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope that this video made a difference for you. And if you have any questions about how to get to the bottom of what's really tying you to something so that you can understand yourself and then move to the next stage, which is letting go of that mindset or that habit, please write me a message. You can message me on Instagram at A Life Designed by Sarah. You can leave a message here in the comments. I really want to help people transform their mindset and get rid of the things that are not working. It's not just, oh, I'm going to let go of that person, because you can get into something new where you're still doing the same thing. So what we really want to do is to get to the bottom of it, understand the feeling that you are recreating for yourself, and generate something new. All right? If this video made a difference for you, please take the time out to like, subscribe, and share with somebody you love. And make sure you hit that bell so you have a notification every time I release a new video. I'll see you on the next one.